When it comes to teams who seeks for success, that are pretty much hungry for trophies and honestly want to be the very best in that specific league, there are no clubs out there who has failed as hard as RNF Hong Kong. This is the Rise and Fall series of RNF Hong Kong. RNF was an association football team based in Guangzhou, China, and were competing in the Hong Kong Premier League between the years of 2016 to 2020. The club owner was a Chinese property developer, RNF Properties, as a satellite team for a Chinese Super League side, Guangzhou City, and RNF stands for Rich and Force based in Mandarin. But why did they fail? What was the cause for the club to withdraw in 2020? You know, what was the real purpose of creating RNF in the first place? Like, there needs to be meat in the bones to fully understand the true story of the downfall of RNF. But what is it? Today, we're going to be talking about that. In the first season of RNF joining the Hong Kong Premier League, they have decided to loan a bunch of their father Guangzhou City reserves players to their Hong Kong team to hopefully give these players some playing time in the professional football scene. But there are a few conditions that must be met. Signing a minimum of 8 players in that season, has to be Hong Kong players, starting at least 3 Hong Kong players per game, and have to sponsor the cup competitions with a 1 million Hong Kong dollar prize pool. In that season, they have finished with 3 wins, 1 draw, and 16 defeats, finishing just only above Hong Kong Football Club. But let me just get back to the sponsoring thing first, because from my understanding, one of the main reasons RNF was able to join the Hong Kong League in the first place is because of the money. The money is extremely important for Hong Kong, and at that point of time, Hong Kong doesn't really have that much money for the teams that participate, which is why a lot of teams ended up going to amateur or semi-pro leagues like the likes of Resource Capital, the likes of Sumshui Pro, the likes of South China, the likes of some Pegasus that has disbanded. Like, there's so many teams that has forfeited the league and has self-relegated themselves to the lower divisions because they just don't have the money to support the club, the staff, and the players that they want to keep. Mind you, they can't even bring in players that are foreign to join the teams. So which is why it makes so much sense why RNF was able to create a Hong Kong team in the first place. 1 million Hong Kong dollars could at least 2 years worth of salaries sorted minimum to keep everything on afloat. In the second season, one of the biggest controversies I would consider as the relocation of the stadium. RNF in their first season played in a stadium called Siu Sai Wan, which is still relatively far, but it has a lot of seats and everything. There was definitely no reason for them to relocate, but they did relocate, and they've actually relocated back in Guangzhou in Yangzigang Stadium. If you cross the border, the traveling distance is a huge issue, around 3 to 4 to even 5 hours to get to the stadium, and it's not even a big stadium either. Visa issues with the foreign players is definitely an issue for this team, and also with some of the local players. As I've mentioned, some of the players that plays in Hong Kong doesn't have the card to go into China, which is specifically called a Wei Hernting. A Wei Hernting is a Chinese card for Hong Kong citizens to use to enter China, like the likes of Shenzhen, the likes of Guangzhou, and other areas that are close to Hong Kong. But this year for RNF, they have definitely made some important signings, because since they are eligible to make free foreign signings, and also they've managed to get established Hong Kong players. Giovanni, that's joined from Eastern to RNF, and then the free signings like the likes of Vaz Neves, Roberto Itacapia. And with these signings, it has definitely improved the team's performance from last year's 3 wins to now 7 wins with 1 draw and 10 defeats. Now in the third season, which I would say it's their most important season, as they considered 2 very disappointing seasons since joining the Hong Kong Premier League, they only have one specific goal, which is to win a trophy, and it's an absolute must to win a trophy. Decided to scrap all of their previous plans with developing the Guangzhou City reserve players and instead inject 50 million Hong Kong dollars. Chairman Huang Xianghua claimed that the club's goal was to win at least a trophy in the season and applied for full membership within the Hong Kong FA in order to represent Hong Kong in the Asian Football Confederation Club. So you can see that they're definitely trying to the best team in Hong Kong by splashing money and also sponsoring the clubs, giving their money to basically also potentially improve all of the other teams in that league. So these are some of the players that they have signed in that season. Lo Kongwei, Sergius Debeli, Bruninho, Paulinho, Hibai, Tung Chuk Lok, Lo Kwang Yi, Sasa Novakovic, Shin Ka Kyung-zi, and Lernok Hung. And with those signings, with the previous signings that they've already made, it is a remarkable season this season for them, finishing just second place with 11 wins, 3 draws, and 4 defeats. But yet again, no trophies this season. The 28th of June 2019, it is confirmed that the Hong Kong FA has accepted RNF's proposal to follow the same regulations as the other Hong Kong Premier League clubs. This move meant that RNF could now register up to 7 foreign players, while Chinese passport holders could not qualify as local players. After that statement of the season, RNF has increased their spending and attracting some of the most experienced players from around the world. Biggest signing, I would say, Igor Sartori, who has won the Hong Kong Premier League with Taipo in that last season, so the 3rd season of RNF, and he was definitely one of the best players in the Hong Kong League, in the Hong Kong Premier League that season. And they have signed him on a free, as well as the likes of Emerson, Dudu, Matt Lam, and Lam Kawai. And with these signings, surely they will finally lift the trophy, which is their ultimate plan in 2019 to 2020. Surely this is the year, right? Right?
China has identified the cause of the
mysterious new virus.
Coronavirus.
Coronavirus.
There are fears a rapidly spreading virus has reached Australia.
After 4 years in the Hong Kong Premier League, RNF officially announced that they will withdraw from the league in 14th of October 2020. With the pandemic on the rise since December 2019, safety of citizens all around the world must be prioritized. RNF has decided to retire from the Hong Kong Premier League and would not be attending any future participations. Some fans are happy of the disbandment, but the fear of their life from the coronavirus is definitely a priority for the safety of all of the fans and people in the world. With the Chinese borders shut, no one goes in, no one goes out. Strict policies in China. China took it extremely serious, and that's one of the reasons why RNF has been disbanded. Coronavirus has killed RNF. But is that true? Is that all there is to it? Because yes, it could be one of the reasons, but surely that they can just continue, right? If they just stayed in Hong Kong playing at Siu Sai Wai Stadium, you know, they surely they could have done that, right? With that being said, with the history lessons of RNF, here are some of the controversies that came along with RNF first joining Hong Kong and throughout the season. When the proposal of RNF potentially joining the Hong Kong Premier League, most of the fans' feedback has been extremely negative. Like, there's been barely any fans that have been, yes, that's great, come to Hong Kong. Some of the fans are considering boycotting the Hong Kong Premier League and just refuse to attend any of the Hong Kong games. Some of them even plans to pitch invade every single RNF Hong Kong game, which is a little bit stupid. I wouldn't do that. And most of the Hong Kong fans only want Hong Kong teams in it. If that team is not from Hong Kong, it should not be in it. And also with the politics around Hong Kong in China, a lot of people are even more strongly disagreeing with the Hong Kong FA allowing RNF joining the Hong Kong Premier League. Over 400 to 600 people have joined the Hong Kong, the Facebook group named No to Special Treatment, Give Me Back the Hong Kong Premier League, expressing their opposition to the proposal. This is what the Hong Kong FA at that time said, which definitely drove a lot of Hong Kong supporters insane. So Brian Leung Hung Tak said, RNF Properties, the owner of Guangzhou RNF, is a Hong Kong company, as its shares are listed on the city stock exchange. So some of the rumors about the salaries, now this is not 100% true, but because we actually never generally know how much the players earn in Hong Kong even now. Some of the players that are earning, that plays in Hong Kong, like the likes of the foreigners or like established Hong Kong players, they earn around about 20 to 40 Hong Kong dollars. So, which means it's about 2,000 to 3.8 thousand pounds a month, which is not a lot. But some of the top quality players, like the likes of Igor Sartori or the likes of Giovanni or Nunes Vázquez, yeah, who has joined RNF as top quality signings, rumor is that they earned more than 100,000 Hong Kong dollars a month. Pretty much over double the amount of money that the top quality Hong Kong players that plays for the likes of Kitchi or Easton at that time are earning. You understand? Yeah, you gotta understand what. There's a reason why players go there. And some of the mere bench warmers that were playing in RNF were just rumors is that they were earning 40 to 50k. Some of the fans in Hong Kong from other teams would consider RNF as the likes of Man City or PSG or Real Madrid at some point. They would consider this RNF team as bullies, bullying other teams from signing their players, bullying other teams from the contract negotiations. I think from the moment that they started, they should have that mentality of the third season. They've technically wasted 2 seasons of their time, because if they have started the first season with the third season's mentality, they definitely probably would have still been in the Hong Kong Premier League. Now, one of the reasons why I didn't want RNF to stay in Hong Kong is definitely because of the traveling to the away games. It is very unfair to the fans and it's very unfair to the local Hong Kong players to have to travel that far to play against a team that is not even located in Hong Kong. If you're playing the Hong Kong Premier League, you're located in Hong Kong. You play in Hong Kong. You don't go play in another country or, you know, a different part of the area of the same country. It depends what you think. For that reason, that's why I didn't want them to be there. If they stayed in Hong Kong and just basically agreed like, yes, we're going to use the money from China, but we're going to invest it in the Hong Kong teams, the Hong Kong Premier League associations, the Hong Kong FA, I will be down for that. But solely for that, they will have that sort of dominance in the league, which means that they will have a lot of say. But I want to know what you guys think. What is your opinion on RNF Hong Kong? I am Massive Lunchbox, and it has been a pleasure sharing you the history of RNF and the rise and fall of this club.